respond to your comments, and you do have 3 minutes to share those comments, and so we can't wait to hear from you. Thank you.
Better get back with the timer. Do we have the timer? Okay. George Hurd.
Is it on?
Yes.
My name's George Hurd. I'm a resident of Frankfurt. I've been here since around 2015. I have a graduate degree in education from a Christian college. Somehow or another, that degree is not recognized in the state of Kentucky. So the only thing that I could do was be a substitute teacher, which paid me $65 a day, which it wasn't worth it. So that's why I'm not a student teacher now. But I still have the degree because no one can ever take that away from me. And what I've seen is that if, and my specialty was science, if people would have just listened in my class, they would know that viruses are so infinitesimally small that masks don't do anything to stop the flow of air with viral pathogens in it. When I was young, I got a flu shot, a swine flu shot. Got sick as a dog, thought I was going to die. And I've never been infected by viruses since. Now, this was like 1974. Never had a viral infection since. So, I will not get the shot. I will not wear a mask unless it's mandated on me. And once that happens, then there are other things that come into play about violations of my rights. But what I have to say is, be very careful about what you want to mandate for students. Be very careful of that, because they'll be alive after we're all dead and gone. And that's why the last meeting I said, educate the children on what they need to learn, not what they want to learn. The biggest problem that I had was cell phones. The rules said no cell phones, but every student had one. Every student was doing this while I'm trying to teach my class. That's why they don't know about viruses. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Patricia Waldridge.
All right, 3 minutes. Give you guys 5 at the
Is that the mic working?
Oh, do you need me to speak up? Oh, I can't speak
I
up.
don't think
But,
the mic's working.
hello? Can you hear it?
Just a moment. We'll restart the timer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear you.
I have extended time, please no.
I think she's got
Test.
Testing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
okay.
That's much better. Okay. There we go.
I'm Patricia Waldridge. I'm, of course, your city commissioner and mayor pro tem here in Frankfurt. I'm coming here also regarding to masks. I'm in favor of encouraging masks in indoor areas and definitely schools. I have to agree, I hate them and they are uncomfortable. However, to keep our kids safe and the economy moving in the right direction, I do and I will do the uncomfortable thing and the right thing and to vaccinate and wear my mask. Now that being said, I'm also in supportive of other options as spoken to Mr. Pop and some of the students, as in maybe vaccinate to win that the state is doing. Maybe we can do something on a smaller scale. whether it's MacBooks, maybe it's gift cards, maybe it's phones, things that entertain our students that they're interested in. Maybe we can do a vaccinate to win for them. I did speak with a small group of students that are here, and number one, I applaud them for being here because this does affect them. And as the city commissioner, I love our students and I will support them in what they want. I want them to have a great senior year and a great year in school. And whatever that is, that's what I really truly want. So if we can do a vaccinate to win and come up with some prizes the same way they're doing on a state level, I say do it. The students that I spoke with have leadership. You can tell they have leadership skills. I was told their age group was not interested in the vaccination, but in speaking with the few that I did, there were 4. Their leadership to me is positive, and I want to be able to support them in whatever options it is. So I think encouraging masks instead of making it a mandate is giving them the option to vaccinate and do what's right. At this time, I spoke with a pharmacist last week. I work for American Cancer Society as well. So I want to be very safe in dealing with people who have diseases and things. I spoke with the pharmacist, and right now, the top 2 people in Kentucky that do not get vaccinated are African American men and Republican men. And so right now, that does not affect our kids. I think that we need to make it available for them for the next week or 2. I, as a city official, will pledge to do whatever you need, Dr. Kopp, and to the board in helping get this done. You guys are in our city limits. You have a lot of city students that live in our city. I don't divide the school systems. We do not have a city school. We have a school that is an independent school that resides in our community in the city that we do take into consideration. But regardless if you're a county school or not, I, as a city commissioner, you mean something to me. My kids attend your school, and most of your kids are inside our city limits. So I will support in what the students want, but I do wish that we get ahead of this and I want us to be proactive and not reactive. We know what this has caused. We know how many people, friends, and community members we've lost in this community, and it's time that we be proactive at this time. Push vaccinations and encourage masks so we do not lose anyone else in this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Louis.
Michelle McElmurray, is that right?
Can I go before her?
Yeah.
Follow up thing.
Sure. Okay, who are you, Garrett?
Yes.
Okay, Garrett Ford. That's fine. Thank you.
So I've written something up to read to you all about what I think about the masks and everything in Kentucky. So, good evening. My name is Garrett Bourne, and I'll be a junior this year at Franklin County High School. I want to thank each and every one of you for the time you have given to serve on the board, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this evening. I want to begin by letting you know how COVID has affected my life as a high school student. In March of my freshman year, I was 1 week away from performing in our school musical. I had been cast as the lead and had spent countless hours practicing and rehearsing for our production. To say that our cast was disappointed with the eventual cancellation of our production would be an understatement. But all of us understood that the greater good of our community and those that we love was more important than any show that we could ever perform. We hoped through that summer that things would return to normal and anxiously awaited news of what the school year would look like next year. Unfortunately, things did not improve, and most of my sophomore year was spent staring at a computer screen in my bedroom, struggling to pay attention and learn. There are days that my brother, sister, and I didn't even get out of our rooms or pajamas. Most of my communication with classmates was done through social media and video games. I watched my older brother's senior year become one disappointment after another. We cheered our football team on through a screen that season, and as we would stream the games through our television. We were so happy for the Flyers to make it to the state championship game, and blessed that we were able to attend in person. It was the only high school sporting event that we were able to attend that year. We were overjoyed to go back to school, and that's something I thought I'd never say. And that the senior class got to have a prom and high school graduation that felt almost normal, and thank you all for that. That really means a lot. The promise of the vaccine gave us all hope that we would soon be back to being normal kids. My entire family has been vaccinated, and it is a great relief. I did worry about the health of my aging grandparents, and it is good to finally be able to spend time with them, not worrying about getting them sick. I do know that the new variant is causing concern, but my family and I feel confident that the vaccine is doing its job, and that even if we happen to get a breakthrough case, we will survive. In fact, the latest reports I have read states that vaccinated people have a 99.5% chance of surviving COVID if they should be infected with a breakthrough case. That means that I have a a greater chance of being struck and killed by lightning, so I like my odds of surviving COVID. I'm sure you all have read and studied many of these numbers as well, so I won't dwell on that. What I really want to talk to you about tonight is the issue of wearing masks this school year. I want you to understand from my point of view that what I do not like about wearing masks. First, the comfort of the mask is a problem. It's hard to breathe even when I have to wear it for a short period of time. But you're asking the students of Franklin County to wear a mask for 7 to 8 hours a day with a slight break at lunch. How many of you wear your mask for that long in a period of time? And do you have to do it every single day? I also know that if it is hard for me to do that, it must be next to impossible for teachers who have to talk in the classroom level voice the entire day with a mask on.
Thank you very much. So does Michelle want to?
My name is Michelle McElmurray, and I am narrating the rest of Garrett's
Oh,
speech. So, I feel that many of the teachers may look for activities in class that do not require them to lecture for any length of time because of the discomfort that is caused by wearing a mask. Secondly, wearing masks discourages students from asking questions. Many times last year, my teachers couldn't understand what I was asking and had to ask me to repeat myself several times. This causes students to refrain from asking questions and is a communication barrier between teachers and students. It is also a communication barrier or I found that when we had opportunities to talk to each other, that we were not anxious to do so. I'm constantly hearing from my parents that we young people struggle with our communication skills because of social media. Wearing the mask is not going to make that any better. Not being able to see a person's entire face is also very annoying. There are students in my school who I would not even recognize because I've never been able to see their entire face. One thing for me that is hard about wearing a mask is my chorus class. This has been one of my favorite classes in high school. Last year, we were able to meet together, but singing was next to impossible. I felt sorry for my teacher, who I know was trying to make it all seem normal, but it just wasn't the same. We have large class that was difficult to hear with the mask, especially for instruction during singing. She didn't have any type of voice projection system to help, and I know she struggled keeping her voice. One of my other favorite classes is French class. With a mask, it is difficult to hear my teacher and understand his pronunciations of the French words. His teaching style is one that requires us to listen and repeat what he is saying. That is nearly impossible with the mask. I'm sure that many students have a different story than mine, but I know that many of them have also been unhappy with wearing masks. All I can do is tell you how wearing a mask has affected my time in school. I just want things to feel and be normal again. Last year, I understood that wearing a mask was something that I needed to do to protect the vulnerable population of our community. The latest report I read from the state COVID vaccine website stated that as August 1st, 62.5% of the Franklin County population has been fully vaccinated, and 99.9% of residents over 65 have been vaccinated. We were told last year that the number one reason for students to wear a mask was to protect those vulnerable and serious complications of death from COVID. If these numbers are correct, it seems like our population has done a pretty good job of protecting themselves. The burden of wearing a mask protected others is no longer mine. Therefore, I should not be required to wear a mask this school year.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Stuart Cobb.
Thank you. I'm afraid that a very serious mistake is being made by not requiring masking. The Delta variant is not the original COVID virus. It's as contagious as chickenpox, and it is making young people sick. There are children who are getting seriously ill, going to hospitals, even having to go onto ventilators. We know that none of our children under the age of 12 are vaccinated, and many of the children over age 12 who are eligible are also not vaccinated. If masks are not required, there is going to be an outbreak in our schools. Some of those children are going to get seriously ill, there's a good chance the schools are gonna have to be closed again. My daughter's a senior, I have another child in high school. I would like them to be able to have close to a normal school year as possible this year. And I'm afraid that that's only gonna be possible if the kids are masked up to protect against the virus. If you wait until there's an outbreak, it's gonna be too late. You need to do it now, well, before it gets as bad here as it is in Florida. This is serious stuff. This is a deadly virus, and a lot of kids are gonna get sick if they, seriously ill if they catch this virus. I would urge everyone, first of all, mostly to get vaccinated, but like I said, as you know, our kids under age 12 can't. They need to be masked up if they're in school for their health. I want these kids to have a normal school year and not end up in a situation where they're having to go to virtual classes again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that is the end of the public comments. Did I miss anybody who had filled out a form? All right, thank you again, and again, please keep on coming to the meetings. This is very helpful. All right, the next item is new business. And the first thing we need to do is I am going to make a motion to modify the agenda and to add item L on new business, which is to approve the allocation of section 7 funds. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of amending the agenda to add an item L, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we added that as item L. All right, so now, new business.
Before we do get into the first item on the agenda, there are some of you that only wanted to come and speak, and if any of you wish to leave, feel free to do so. If you wish to stay, even better. We love having you here, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Our first item is really exciting. It's a donation of a painting. The family of Lavera Jean Wright, Peaks Mill High School graduate, would like to donate her painting of Peaks Mill to the Franklin County Board of Education. The family is unable to be here in person, but have shared the following information. And Ms. Rebecca Roberts is sharing the painting, which, as you can see, is a gorgeous rendition of the former Peaks Mill School. Lavera Jean Wright graduated from Peaks Mill High School in 1952. Later that year, she married the love of her life, Charles Sizemore, who had also graduated in the same class. Their only child, Debbie, was born in September of 1953. After Charles completed his time in the Air Force, the family moved to Walton in northern Kentucky in 1956. Charles went to work at Central Trust Bank, which is now PNC, and Lavera worked at Sizemore Manufacturing, a Walton company owned by Charles' aunt. She sat at a sewing machine for years and eventually was made supervisor. Lavera had always dreamed about studying art. After working for over 20 years, she stopped working outside the home in the early 1970s. Lavera finally followed her dreams and decided to take lessons from a local artist who ran an art studio. It didn't take long before she was helping to teach lessons. She helped run the studio for years and kept it going when the owner had cancer. She loved helping the students improve in their skills. Many people in Walton have taken art lessons from Lavera and tell Charles and Debbie how patient and kind she always was. Lavera passed away in February 2018 after a long illness with Crohn's disease and other complications. She loved her early life growing up in Frankfort and her time at Peaks Mill. She would be very proud to know that this painting is now here. So while we don't have a recommended motion for the donation, because board policy states that the value needs to be over $1,000 for the board to approve it, I don't think it would be a bad idea to do a ceremonial motion, because that's a priceless work of art right there. And to the family of Lavera Jean Wright, we sure do appreciate the donation, and it will hang at Peaks Mill School.
I'd like to make a motion to for that donation. I think it's a very, very good motion. All of my parents all graduated from Pittsfield, high school.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor of accepting